I wanted to come on today and talk about this whole love and light culture and how it leads to toxic spirituality. So the New Age community, honestly, everywhere now, everyone talks about spreading love and light, right? Good vibes only. Like I took my 4-year-old daughter clothes shopping and everything on it was like good vibes only. And it's ridiculous that we think that we can just love and light our way out of a situation when we're really just turning a blind eye to the darkness, to pain and suffering. As much as we hate to admit it, pain and suffering is part of the human experience, right? Life is not all rainbows and butterflies. Life is not all love and light. And when we think that we can affirm our way out of a situation or only think positive thoughts, right? We are then suppressing all of the bad stuff that happened, right? We're just gonna not deal with it. We're gonna like push it away into the unconscious, into the shadows, right? And we're just gonna think positive thoughts. Well, what happens is when we don't deal with the emotions, even the negative emotions, right? Those are still there, right? And they kind of tend to fester and manifest out in our life in a different way, maybe a different area of our life, right? So if we're not dealing with the hard stuff, the heavy stuff, right? If we're not coming face to face with our shadows, I mean, you're just going to be repeating this cycle, right? Until it comes back at you in a different way. And to put it into like goddess terms, like I see all of, and there's nothing wrong with being an idealist, right? Because I am an optimist and I am an idealist compared to a lot of the people in my life. And yes, I want joy and abundance for all, right? But let's think about anger for a second, right? If we deny ourselves the ability to express all of our emotions, right? The whole spectrum of emotions, right? We're suppressing our anger. We're suppressing our grief, our sadness, right? We're going to have to deal with it at some point because it's just lingering there in the unconscious. When I think of the unconscious, the shadows, the negative side of life, right? It's not actually, it's just a part of life, you guys. Pain and suffering. I mean, if you think about it, if we didn't have pain and suffering, if we didn't have grief, if we didn't have sadness, then we would not, that pleasure, that joy, that abundance, those good feelings, right? That natural high, we would take for granted, right? We can't live up here all the time because that's not how life works. Everyone in the spiritual community thinks like love and light, good vibes only. It's just uphill, right? We're all on this ascension. No, sorry. Life is cyclical. We go through this spiral of ups and downs, right? Twists and turns. We go like this. This is the natural occurrence of life, right? Forever spiraling. Yes, maybe the spiral is going up, right? But we are constantly in this evolutionary cycle of pain and pleasure, grief and joy, because that is the human experience. And we even see this in the myths with the goddesses, right? Medusa was betrayed by Lilith, or by Athena. Sorry, I'm thinking Lilith though, because I'm thinking of divine rage, right? Being abused and saying that she had to submit to a man and that she was not equal. And then she was demonized for it, right? I mean, Lilith is one of the prime examples of the dark goddess, of this I don't want to even say shadow side, because all of our emotions are human and natural, and we all experience them, right? So to say like anger is not justified or you're not allowed to get angry, you're just suppressing that part of yourself. You're telling yourself that you have to be this good girl, right? That you have to think positive thoughts, or, you know, your manifestations won't come true if you're not aligned to success and abundance and goodness, right? That's bullshit. There's plenty of terrible people out there making money. They're not aligned. And it creates this toxic culture, right? Within the new age, within the spiritual community, within the collective consciousness or unconscious, right? That we should only spread light. But I want you to think of an example. Okay, so talking about divine anger. Yes, I said it, divine anger. Anger can be divine, and here's why. Think about a problem in the world that pisses you off, okay? Whether it is income inequality, social injustice, right? The fact that there's more than enough food in the world and people are still starving, people don't have homes, people don't have proper access to proper health care, access to clean water, that, you know, the earth has been stripped of her natural resources. Just think of any problem that pisses you off, okay? That is divine anger. Anger is your initiation. Anger, divine anger, right, initiates us to take action, to fix the problem. So if you're pissed that the oceans are polluted, what are you doing about it? If you're pissed that a handful of people have all of the wealth in the world, what are you doing about it? If you're pissed that women are still making less than men, what are you doing about it? Right? What is your solution to the problem? How can you voice your concerns? How can you speak up and take action against the inequality, the injustice? Anger can be divine. It can. Because these feelings, this anger, this grief, right? Sadness. I mean, the goddesses have all experienced these, right? Demeter experienced this when Persephone was taken from her, right? That sadness and that grief and that feeling like I just can't go on without the love of my life, right? All of these feelings are initiations. Think about that for a second. All of these feelings that we deem bad, right? That we label bad. These are actually initiations by the dark goddess. Initiations to set us on the path, right? To do something, to take aligned action. But we can't take aligned action when we're suppressing our anger. When we're saying, oh no, I'm not allowed to behave like that. That is not in my highest good. Bullshit. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Right? Get angry about human trafficking. Well, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to take aligned action? Are you going to speak up? Are you going to donate to causes that are doing something for it? Right? I mean, you don't have to fix the whole problem, but these feelings, even the dark nights of the soul, right, are setting us up on a different path. They're redirecting us to do something. And again, by suppressing all of these emotions, we're not able to fulfill our destiny. We're not able to go through that path, go through that awakening, go through that calling, taking aligned action, right? When we're just saying, oh, everything's perfect. Is it? Is everything perfect? Look around the world. Pick up a newspaper. As much as listen, I am the first one to call myself out on this, right? As much as I love to live in my own little bubble, right? And we pretend that bad shit doesn't happen, right? That school shootings aren't still happening, that, people aren't still dying from a pandemic, that whatever it is. We can ignore it, right? It doesn't make the problem go away. So maybe instead of ignoring it, maybe we allow ourselves to feel all these emotions, to go through this spiral of awakening, right? To meet our anger and rage and grief and sadness with just as much acceptance and love as we do the joy, the abundance, the happiness. What if we met all of these emotions equally? That's what the Dark Goddess teaches us. The light and the shadow, they're two sides to the same coin. You can't get away from it. As much as you want to say good vibes only and love and light and, blessings everywhere, great. But are you owning your shit? Are you actually doing the inner work? Can you actually say, like, I have no shame around these feelings, or I allow myself to feel the bad, right? Allow myself to process all of the bad emotions. I don't even want to say bad emotions. They're just emotions, right? Why do we label these things? Why do we put these things in boxes? Okay. Do we allow ourselves to go through, right, and feel everything that we're feeling? Because I guarantee you, if you allow yourself to get angry, if you allow yourself to sit with the shame, allow yourself to sit with your fears, sit with the doubts, sit with, the hurt and the pain, you'll be much stronger because of it. You might see things in a new perspective that maybe you didn't before. You might find yourself on a new path. But when we're able to sit with all of our emotions and process all of them equally, we're more well-rounded, we're whole, we feel more complete, right? Than to just suppress and ignore the bad stuff in life, right? That's toxic. Because you can't hide from the human experience, right? Life happens to us, whether, we like it or not. And I think those dark nights of the soul, the pain, the agony, all of those serve a purpose. And it sucks. It sucks to say that, right? But it does. And this, coming from somebody who has battled depression, who, has a very loud inner critic, who has definitely had several dark nights of the soul, right? Who has had to peel herself off of her bedroom floor several times in her life. But it makes me stronger, right? I'm able to pick myself up, and I'm able to then see, the light. The darkness, the shadows, the unconscious, the dark goddess, Lilith, Medusa, Persephone, Ereshkigal, Kalima, all of these goddesses, they serve a purpose. They help us. I mean, even just thinking of Inanna's descent, right, into the underworld. Meeting, I don't even want to say her darker half, her sister, right? Again, a lot of people believe that that was Inanna. Ereshkigal was Inanna, but it was just shadows, the shadow of Inanna, right? All of these things that she suppressed, that she didn't allow herself to crave, the dark goddess is this raw, primal energy. And it's often an energy that we ignore, We suppress. We don't allow ourselves to go there because we don't think it is good. Again, just a label. It's just a word. So I guess the whole point of this video, right? Because I'm currently writing a book on the dark goddesses. It's been in the works for over a year now. But I'm also hosting this workshop, Dark Goddess Alchemy. And it's taking us into the shadows. And it's taking us into the fears and the doubts and the anger and the grief, and allowing us to process it from this place of acceptance, right? To remove the blocks, to remove the shame, to remove the stigma around the darkness, the shadows, right? We do shadow work, we do inner work, we work with dark goddesses to tap into that raw primal sense of self, to work through all of these emotions, right? And to bring love and acceptance to these parts of ourselves to make us feel whole. Instead of just, good vibes only. Because that's not real. It's just one side of everything. And my dog Freya says hi. So yes, if you're interested, doors are open till August 23rd. And if you're watching this later, if you missed it, I will be reopening the doors in October. But, I just wanted to put this perspective out there that, maybe everything isn't love and light, and maybe we should actually learn to accept the fullest human experience. I'm sending you all of my love and wishing you all the best. And, if this resonates, leave a comment, let me know. I'll leave some links below if you want to check out Dark Goddess Alchemy, and I will see you next week.